The galactic arena floated in orbit above a glowing green planet, filled with delegates from every known star system. It was the time of the Trial of Reflex, a yearly contest where the galaxy's fastest species came to prove who ruled in speed. This was not a normal event. It was tradition. In many alien cultures, speed meant strength, dominance, and even intelligence. Whoever won this trial often gained influence and respect in the Galactic Council. This year, for the first time, Earth had been invited, but not as competitors, only as observers. A small group of humans sat in a quiet corner of the Grand Hall. Their uniforms were simple, dark blue with a small Earth symbol near the shoulder. Most of the audience didn't even glance their way. To the others, humans were new, weak, and far too slow to matter. Among the human group was Leo, a quiet engineer with short brown hair and calm eyes. He wasn't tall or muscular. He carried a tablet and observed the events in silence. The ambassador from Earth, an older man named Briggs, leaned toward Leo and whispered, "Try to stay invisible. They already think we're not worth much." Leo nodded. That was easy. No one was paying attention to him anyway. The arena roared as the first event began. A thin, insect-like alien called a Valari moved across a field of flashing lights. It struck each one with lightning speed. The crowd cheered. A timer on the wall showed near-perfect reaction time. Next, a red-skinned, four-armed warrior from the Dravic species performed a live duel with flying drones. Blades spun in his hands. He didn't miss a single one. The applause shook the walls. Then came the Korans, sleek cat-like aliens known for their reflexes. One of them, named Kelter, stepped into the spotlight. He moved with smooth grace, dancing through a set of moving blades and scoring direct hits with his tail spike. After he finished, he stood proudly and turned toward the human section. "Well?" Coulter's voice boomed through the arena. "Have the apes learned to move yet?" The crowd laughed. Leo looked up slowly. He wasn't angry, just curious. The ambassador kept his voice low. "Ignore it. This is their way." But Coulter wasn't done. He pointed at Leo, who stood out among the seated humans. "You there. You look soft. Do your kind even have reflexes? Or are you always this still, because you're waiting for evolution to catch up?" The laughter grew louder. Leo took a slow breath and stood. He said nothing. His eyes met Coulter's. For a moment, calm and unreadable, a member of the council raised a hand. "Let the human speak, if he dares." Leo finally spoke, his voice even. "You want to test me?" Coulter's eyes gleamed with challenge. "Why not? The arena has an open module. Let's see if the legends of Earth reflexes are just bedtime." Stories. Whispers spread through the hall. Some aliens leaned forward with excitement. Others shook their heads, ready to watch a human fail. The ambassador touched Leo's arm. "You don't have to do this. You're not trained for their games." Leo shrugged gently. "They invited us here to observe. But if they want a demonstration, why not?" Council technicians moved quickly. The holographic reaction dome, half-sphere filled with flashing targets and motion sensors, was activated. Leo stepped into the center. The dome closed, and the lights dimmed. The alien announcer's voice rang out. "Level 1 reflex test. Standard motion response. Begin countdown. 3, 2, 1. The lights blinked, sensors flared, and spinning orbs began flying at Leo from random angles. For a moment, he didn't move. Then he did, faster than expected. His arms snapped out, striking a red orb. He ducked a spinning drone. His hand flicked up, hitting 3 targets in a single motion. No wasted energy. No hesitation. The sensors beeped rapidly, trying to keep up. In the control booth. 1. Technician blinked at the screen. "That can't be right. The council leader narrowed his eyes. Is the system glitching? No, sir. It's working. He's just fast. The lights flashed again. Leo spun, struck the final target, and stood still. Silence. The dome. Retracted. Leo stepped out slowly. Eyes still calm. The results flashed on the screen. 99.7% reaction score. Speed. Unclassified. The crowd didn't laugh this time. Kelter stepped forward, face tense. You cheated. Leo met his eyes and replied softly, You assumed. Asterisk. The arena remained quiet. Every eye was on the human who had just changed the mood of the entire event. Leo didn't flex or smile. He didn't even look proud. He just walked calmly back toward the human section. But before he could reach his seat, Kelter blocked his path. No human moves like that, the alien said. Voice sharp and loud. That was a trick. A machine helped you. There is no other answer. Leo looked at Kelter without blinking. Do you want to test me again? Gasps came from the crowd. Some aliens leaned closer, waiting for the drama to explode. The council. Speaker stood up. Enough. The test was clean. The results were verified. There is no cheating. Earth's representative passed the standard reflex trial, but Kelter wasn't satisfied. He turned to council. Then I challenge him, one-on-one, a live reflex duel. The ambassador from Earth stood. That's not part of the agreement. We came as observers, not fighters. The council leader raised a hand. Let the human speak for himself. Leo didn't look at his ambassador. He stared at Kelter and said, I accept. The arena screens blinked. New event added. Reflex DUEL human vs. Cal 2 Ard. Roared. The hall buzzed with energy. Betting started instantly on alien data tablets. Most of them placed their credits on Kelter. He was a champion, after all. Kelter's weapons were removed. This wasn't a combat match. It was about reflexes only, timing, motion, instinct. The duel would be judged by an AI-controlled holographic system. No killing, just skill. Technicians set up the duel platform. It was a wide, circular floor filled with moving lights, flying discs, and unexpected challenges. The rules were simple. Hit targets as they appear, dodge hazards, and last longer than the opponent. Leo stood on the left. He didn't look at the crowd. His arms stayed relaxed at his sides. Kelter stretched and cracked his neck loudly, showing off. Let's see if you can move like that when something is coming at you for real, the announcer's voice echoed. The reflex duel begins in 3, 2, 1, go. The lights flashed. Both fighters moved. Kelter leaped left, struck a disc midair, and spun backward, avoiding a laser grid. Leo stepped sideways, barely seeming to move, yet struck 3 points in a smooth arc. The crowd watched, breathless. Hazards dropped from the ceiling, sharp energy beams and speedballs. Kelter ducked one, flipped over another, and roared in excitement. Leo didn't flip. He didn't roar. He flowed, stepping, striking, dodging, pausing, then striking again. It looked almost too slow, until the sensors confirmed his perfect timing. In the control room, a technician whispered, He's not just reacting. He's predicting. The council leader leaned closer. He's reading the pattern before it happens. Midway through the match, Kelter's pace slowed. His breathing grew heavier. He had scored more hits, but he had also missed more. Leo, on the other hand, hadn't missed once. Kelter snarled and moved faster, pushing himself harder. His foot slipped just a little, and a hazard grazed his shoulder. A red light flashed. Penalty. Leo didn't look at him. He was focused on the next target, then the next, then the next. Smooth, calm, deadly accurate. The arena grew quiet again. Final phase triggered. Speed increased. Hazards doubled. The announcer shouted, Final round. Kelter tried to keep up. He swung wildly, hitting some targets, missing others. Leo moved once, twice, thrice, then everything went still. The lights dimmed. The announcer's voice returned. Match over. Victor. Human representative Leo hit. Accuracy. 100% hazards avoided. 100% reflex ranking. Off STALE. The crowd didn't cheer. Not yet. Kelter stood breathing heavily, sweat on his furred face. He looked at Leo, silent, steady, still not even sweating. Kelter finally said, "What are you?" Leo answered, "Human." Then he walked off the platform. This time, no one laughed. Asterisk. As Leo stepped off the dual platform, the air in the arena felt different. No laughter, no shouting. Just silence, heavy and full of questions. Council members huddled in quiet conversations. Scientists pulled up data feeds, running slow motion. Replays of the match. The humans' movements weren't just fast, they were impossible to track with standard equipment. His reaction times weren't just good, they were unreal. In the viewing box, a Quoron tech specialist stared at the screen. "The sensors glitched," he said, uncertain. "He moved faster than our detection systems can read. That's not normal." The council leader narrowed his eyes. "Then update the system." One of the elder species, a being with a crystal spine and glowing eyes, finally spoke. "They told us humans were behind in evolution, primitive, emotion-driven, but what we saw was something else." In the human section, the ambassador looked at Leo with quiet pride. "You just changed the way they see us." Leo nodded. "Maybe. Or maybe now they'll ask better questions." Soon, the arena lights brightened again. The council called for an open session. Representatives from several species stood to speak. The Velari elder asked first. "We request full medical scans. We wish to understand how a human moved like that." The Earth ambassador stood. "You're not scanning our people just because you lost a contest." The Dravic general leaned forward. "Was he trained as a soldier?" Leo shook his head. "No. I'm an engineer. I fix engines. But I also grew up on Earth, where wild animals teach you to move fast, or you die." Kelter sat in silence, no longer mocking. His eyes stayed locked on Leo. There was no anger in them anymore, only confusion. The council leader addressed Leo directly. "Explain your speed? Was it enhanced? Is your body modified?" Leo thought for a moment before answering. "No, I've trained, yes. Martial arts, reflex drills, simulators, but most of it? It's instinct. Earth built us this way." He stepped forward and looked out at the gathered species. "You mock humans for being slow. But we're not slow. We're patient. We wait. And when the moment comes, we strike." Another voice rose from the crowd. A Terran diplomat asked, "If you are this fast, why didn't we see it before?" Leo gave a small smile. "Because we didn't need to show it. Until now." Murmurs filled the chamber. A young alien scholar, nervous but curious, raised her hand. "Is it true that humans used to throw wooden sticks that curved through the air?" Leo chuckled. "Yes, boomerangs, spears, arrows. But now we train pilots to handle ships moving at speeds you can't blink fast enough to follow. We train medics to catch falling scalpels mid-surgery. We train athletes to dodge faster than most machines." He let his words settle. "And we train soldiers to move before danger even appears." Silence returned. Not from fear, but from realization. Everything they thought they knew about humans was wrong. The ambassador from Earth stepped forward again. "We came in peace. We came to learn. But we also came prepared. If we seem slow, it's only because we've been watching." The council leader stood, his expression unreadable. "Perhaps it is time we stop underestimating Earth." Leo nodded politely, then returned to his seat. Later that evening, the official results of the reflex duel were broadcast across hundreds of systems. News feeds flashed the moment Leo struck the final target. Social media networks lit up with replays slowed down frame by frame. Debates broke out on how humans could move like that. Some still claimed it was a trick. Others whispered something more dangerous. If this is how fast they are when calm, what happens when they're angry? Back in the human quarters, Leo sat alone, watching the stars. The ambassador joined him. "You understand what you've done, right?" Leo didn't answer right away. Then he said, "They laughed at us. I wanted to give them a reason to stop." "They've stopped," the ambassador replied. "Now they're thinking, and maybe fearing." Leo looked out the window again. We were slow to arrive in this galaxy. But maybe that was the point. Asterisk the next day, the council hall was busier than ever. Delegates were no longer interested in the games. They wanted answers. Reports about Leo's reflexes had spread far beyond the arena. Across starships and planets, aliens watched the match on repeat. Some were amazed. Others were nervous. Some even began questioning everything they thought they knew about humans. The council called an emergency knowledge exchange session in the center chamber. Leo sat on a plain chair in front of dozens of curious alien scholars, scientists, and military officials. Not as a competitor, no, but as a subject of deep interest. A large screen hologram displayed Leo's duel with Kelter, paused on the frame where Leo struck 3 targets at once. "Explain this," asked a tall, blue-skinned instructor from the Vari species. "No creature we know can process movement this fast." Leo leaned back calmly. "It's not just speed, it's focus." Another voice asked, "Is it technology? Do your eyes have implants?" Leo shook his head. "No, it's training and instinct." Earth's creatures humans included evolved to survive surprise attacks. In our past, you didn't outrun danger. You reacted to it. He stood and walked to the center of the room. Earth has predators with faster legs, stronger muscles. But we survived because we had timing, awareness, the ability to move in the exact moment that matters. A new hologram appeared, showing human fighters, martial artists, sprinters, reacting to gunshots or flashing lights. The aliens stared at the way humans moved, with power, precision, and emotion. Another video played, human pilots dodging in. Combat simulators, hands ablur over controls. A council scientist asked, "Then you're not faster by nature?" Leo paused. "Not always. Many of your species move faster in raw motion. But we react faster. And that difference is what changes battles." He turned toward a younger alien scribe. "Speed is nothing without control. Reflex isn't just motion, it's decision. That's what we train for." The room went silent. Colt, or now standing at the back of the hall, finally spoke. "I felt it. In the duel, you weren't chasing the targets. You were already ahead of them." Leo nodded. "We call it flow. It's when the mind is clear and the body moves without delay. Soldiers call it combat instinct. Athletes call it the zone. Pilots, they just call it survival." A Tiran general stepped forward. "What about the rest of your people? Are they like you?" Leo smiled slightly. "Not all, but many. Enough that you should stop thinking we're slow." That answer hit hard. The council whispered among themselves. Another representative raised a hand. "Will Earth share these training methods?" The ambassador replied before Leo could speak. "Some of them, yes. But understand this, our speed isn't a trick to copy. It's part of who we are." Leo added, "If you want to move like a human, you have to live like one. You have to fight, adapt, fail, get back up, and train again. We're not born fast. We become fast." More murmurs filled the air. The council leader stood. Then perhaps the galaxy has misunderstood Earth. We judged too quickly. We looked at your calm and called it slowness. We saw your patience and mistook it for weakness. Leo gave a simple reply. And now? The leader answered. Now. We wonder what else you've been hiding. Outside the hall, a group of alien students followed Leo, asking more questions. One asked, "Do you feel fear before you move?" Leo answered honestly, "Yes, every time, but we don't freeze. We move anyway." Another asked, "Why didn't you show this ability when you first arrived in space?" Leo looked around and said, "Because showing off isn't our way. We wait, we observe, and when needed, we act." Later that night, Leo returned to the quiet viewing room aboard the human vessel. The ambassador joined him again. "You know what's coming," the ambassador said. "They'll want more tests, more proof. Some will fear us. Some will envy us." Leo didn't turn away from the stars. They can study us all they want, but they won't understand until they see the reason behind it. The ambassador looked at him. "And what's that?" Leo's voice was soft. "Because we had to earn every second of survival on Earth. We didn't evolve to be the fastest. We evolved to be fast enough to live." The galactic arena was full again. This time, it wasn't for a tournament. It was for a test. A new duel had been arranged, and the galaxy was watching. The council had announced it as a final demonstration, an open challenge where Leo would face Coulter one more time. But now, it wouldn't be just a reflex match. It would be a live battle simulation, where both reflex and judgment would be tested in real-time danger zones. Coulter had requested it. "I want to understand it," he said earlier. "I want to feel what it's like to move like that, even if I lose again." Leo agreed with no hesitation. "I'll meet you in the ring." This wasn't a fight to the death. The weapons were simulated, but the pain sensors were real. It would feel like real damage, and one mistake could mean full shutdown from the arena system. As both entered the large circular platform, the holographic walls closed around them. The sky above turned black. Lights dimmed. Weapons loaded in from the floor. Stun rods, defense orbs, pressure shields. The match would test reaction, strategy, and movement. The announcer's voice echoed. "Simulation start. Level 10. Reflex. Duel. Begin in 3, 2, 1. Leo and Coulter moved at the same time, but not toward each other. Lasers flickered from the walls. Spinning blades dropped from the ceiling. Speedballs, the size of fists, launched at random intervals. Coulter moved. First fast, graceful, sharp. He spun through the first wave, blocked with his shield, then lunged toward a speed orb and crushed it with his rod. Leo moved later, but smoother. No wasted steps. He let hazards pass close, but never hit him. Each strike of his rod hit a sensor, or with perfect accuracy. He didn't block unless he had to. He barely dodged, he redirected. The crowd stared as both fighters danced through danger, neither touching the other, both focused on their own zones. Then the difficulty increased. Floor panels shifted. Smoke filled the lower level. Holoprojectors generated false targets. Coulter began to struggle. He reacted quickly, but sometimes chased illusions. Twice he struck a fake drone, missing a real one. Leo paused, and his body shifted forward, and suddenly he was everywhere. The cameras zoomed in. He didn't just react, he anticipated. His body moved before the threat appeared. He rolled under a falling spike. His rod smashed 2 discs that hadn't even fired yet. One jump, then a twist, and a strike through the air, where a drone would appear a half-second later. A voice in the control room said quietly, "He's not reacting anymore. He's predicting outcomes based on patterns. He's thinking 10 steps ahead." Another replied, "That's not speed. That's control." Kaltor fell behind. A stun orb grazed his shoulder. A red light flashed. "Hit minor penalty," he growled. Not in anger, but frustration. Leo glanced at him for the first time. Kaltor shouted, "You're not fighting me." "You're fighting the simulation," Leo replied calmly. "Exactly." He moved again, fluid and fast. He wasn't trying to beat Kaltor. He was trying to master the entire environment. The final phase. Activated. Now. It was just the two of them face to face. Blades gone. Drones shut down. One-on-one. They charged. Kaltor struck first. Fast and powerful. Leo didn't block. He moved sideways, just enough to let the hit pass. Then he stepped in, tapped Kaltor's chest with the flat of the rod, and stopped. Match end. Victor, Leo. Earth. The silence returned. Kaltor dropped his rod. He stood there for a moment, breathing hard, then walked to Leo and extended his hand. Leo shook it. "You win," Kaltor said. "But more than that, you taught me." Leo smiled gently. "Speed is not just muscle. It's understanding." The crowd didn't cheer this time. They rose to their feet, quiet, respectful. Later that day, council members met in private. What they had witnessed was not just victory. It was something bigger. Leo had shown that humans didn't need loud power or shiny tech to dominate. They had something else. Something harder to measure. And that was now spreading. Other species began testing their own reflexes differently. Training programs changed. But deep down, a question echoed across the stars. If this is what they can do under pressure, what would they do in a real war? The duel was over, but the real shock had just begun. By the next day, every major starport, news station, and education hub across the galaxy played the same footage. A human moving like lightning, dodging attacks before they arrived, striking targets no one else even saw. The title across most feeds read, "Leo of Earth, the mind faster than machines." Suddenly, Earth wasn't just some backwater planet anymore. Humans weren't being laughed at in alien jokes. They were being studied. Kaltor, once the proud champion of the Koran race, gave an official interview. His words surprised everyone. "He beat me fairly," he said. "He didn't just move fast. He understood everything around him before it happened. I've never seen anything like it. We should be grateful he came in peace." That single sentence sent ripples through the galaxy. In the following days, requests poured into Earth's embassy. Could they send more reflex fighters? Could they demonstrate their training? Would Earth agree to help improve galactic defense programs? The ambassador, sitting in his private room, reviewed the messages with a tired sigh. "This isn't what we planned," he said quietly. Leo stood nearby, sipping water, still calm. "What did you expect?" "We showed them something they didn't know was possible." The ambassador looked at him. "No one's laughing anymore." "Leo, now they're watching." "Closely." Leo nodded. "Let them watch." Meanwhile, in a darkened council chamber, members of the inner circle gathered. "He was just one man," said a soft, mechanical voice. "And yet he outperformed every known warrior in the galaxy." "And he wasn't even a soldier," added another, nervously clicking its mandibles. A third leaned forward. "If that's what their engineers can do, what do you think their soldiers are like?" No one answered. The silence said enough. Back on the public side of things had changed. Where once humans were seen as weak, now they were respected and feared. Training halls that once ignored human methods now studied Earth's martial arts. Reaction trials began incorporating Earth-style pressure tests. Videos of Earth's pilots handling G-force simulations went viral on alien networks. Children from other planets began pretending to be humans when they played warrior games. In one of the smaller markets outside the arena, Two alien merchants chatted while watching a replay of Leo's final match. The older one shook his head. He didn't even try to hurt Kelter. He just moved around him. The younger one whispered, "That's the scary part. He could have ended it sooner." Even Kelter himself had changed. He approached Leo 1 day after a council speech and said, "They used to look at me like I was the top of the food chain. Now they look at you?" Leo replied, "It was never about who's on top. It's about who survives the longest." Kelter gave a quiet chuckle. "Then I hope we're on the same side when things go wrong." Leo answered, "That depends on who attacks first." Soon, new questions filled council halls. What else are humans capable of? Are they hiding more than just reflexes? If one human can move faster than our machines, what happens when they move together? The whispers began to turn into plans, secret meetings, emergency protocols. Military programs from other species quietly added human scenario drills. Back on Earth's ship, Leo was alone again, watching the stars. He didn't feel like a champion. He wasn't a hero. He had simply reacted. That's what humans do best. The ambassador joined him. "They're scared now." Leo nodded. "They should be." The ambassador looked surprised. "We didn't attack anyone," Leo continued. "We didn't show weapons or threats. But now they realize something simple. We are not what they expected. And the unknown, that always scares people." The ambassador sighed. "What do we do now?" Leo looked at the stars. "We wait. We listen, and we train." The next day, a new alert was issued by the Galactic Military Council. All units must begin new reflex evaluation protocols. Effective immediately, Earth will be the benchmark from being ignored to becoming the standard. Weeks passed, but the galaxy didn't forget. Every species that once mocked humans had gone silent. Not from shame, but from study, from fear, from curiosity. Now they tried to understand what made humans different. A council-wide motion passed to add Earth reflex protocols to every major training academy. For the first time in history, the galactic military schools asked Earth to send instructors. And Earth sent them, but not soldiers. Not spies. Not fighters. They sent teachers, athletes, medics, pilots, everyday people who had been trained to move fast under pressure. One of those instructors, of course, was Leo. He didn't want to go at first. But the ambassador convinced him. "You didn't just show them what a human could do," he said. "You reminded them not to judge quiet strength. Now help them learn before someone else finds a reason to test us again." Leo agreed. He arrived at the Galactic Academy, where alien cadets from dozens of species lined up, ready to learn the human method. They expected drills, shouting, and secret machines. What they got instead was surprising. Leo didn't give them complex tools. He gave them simple lessons: balance, breathing, focus, and stillness before motion. Speed comes from readiness, he told them, not from panic. Some struggled. Some laughed at first. But then they started to understand. One cadet asked him privately, "Why didn't Earth show this power when you first joined the galaxy?" Leo replied, "Because it's not about power. It's about when to use it." Meanwhile, among the higher councils, arguments began to grow. Some said Earth's presence was too dangerous, that humans should be watched carefully, that they might be hiding more. Others disagreed. They could have destroyed Kelter. He was helpless in the final moment, one council elder said. But the human stopped. He chose mercy. "That," another replied, "is more terrifying than a strike." Soon, whispers grew louder about forming a new defense alliance, with Earth in the center, not because humans needed protection, but because the galaxy now realized it needed them. One bold race, known for their pride, submitted a request. We wish to be trained on Earth. We are ready to be fast. The message was broadcast publicly. And Earth responded with only one sentence. We are ready to teach those who are ready to learn. That simple line became famous. Merchants printed it on banners. Pilots carved it on their ships. Students in alien schools whispered it before exams. Leo, meanwhile, kept his routine simple. He trained, ate quietly, and answered questions when asked. He didn't care for fame, but he noticed how others looked at him now, not with disrespect, not even with fear. With respect. Real, honest respect. One day, Coulter visited the academy again, now in civilian dress. He found Leo outside, watching a group of alien cadets run reflex drills. They used to laugh at me too, you know, Coulter said. Leo smiled. You've earned their respect now. Coulter nodded. Because you made them look deeper. He paused, then added, They'll never mock Earth again. Leo watched a young alien strike 4 targets in a row. No, he said. They'll learn from Earth now. That's better. And it was true. Because in the end, Earth didn't win by fear or fire. They won by showing that real strength doesn't need to shout. It just moves, fast, silent, and certain. And when it moves, Lee. Galaxy watches. Always.